All right. Welcome back to another episode of It's All Bad. I'm Russian Danny, and we got Keith. Mike is not with us this evening. I mean, he's here in spirit. We love him. He's not too far away. You know, he's okay. Don't worry. Our guest tonight is Eddie, who is, man, what a nice dude. Like, what a nice, great dude. And I related to him a bunch because my animation career was nowhere as cool as his was, you know, but he's done some really cool stuff animation wise, and then dabbled, I guess, a bit in the techno warehouse rave scene, which I also did myself, which somehow inevitably seems to always lead into the lifestyle. I think it's like, and he really kind of like reminded me of this, where there was like a period where they started cutting ecstasy with meth. And right when they started cutting the ecstasy with the meth, then like the only thing next is you're like, oh, well, if I just want to like keep, you know, and then like once the ecstasy didn't have the meth in it, then you just want the meth. And so then you become a tweaker, you know? So we related on that. And he had some, like, I'm listening to this episode and I'm like, holy shit, like, where is this going to go, you know? And we wrapped it all back together with our first ayahuasca story and, like, broke down ayahuasca so cool. And it, like, just what a nice dude, and so cool to have him on and to hear about his, like, really fucking trippy experience with ayahuasca. So I'm not going to bore you anymore with my ramblings. Let's get into it. Thanks for listening, guys.
But yeah. I think I usually do a good job. I usually do.
Did you draw those on the wall?
Yeah. My office kind of like
that's crazy.
Makeshift.
You work mainly. You do animation?
Well, yeah, I can talk about that.
No. I mean, before we get into that, because I worked in animation for 5 years. I worked at Klasky Chupo and 6 Point Harness, and I worked in a bunch of studios. Yeah.
Do you know Frank? Frank Marino?
No, that doesn't.
Okay, he came. I think he came in later, but he's one of those directors on Klasky Chupo, and but he was my director on Transformers and at Hasbro.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I know quite a few people. I can't remember who was on. I mean, Klasky Chupo is long gone, right? It's
long gone, yeah. What about, you ever work with Eric Bauza?
No, I don't know. I'm old school, so some of these new names I just don't know because
he's a dude who was a designer, but then he always did voiceovers. He's from Canada, and he came out here, and then he like blew up doing voiceovers, you know. And he's done like all of his like childhood idol fucking, you know, like he's fucking awesome, you know.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I ran into quite a few. Like when I was at Warner Brothers, I ran into Mark Hamill quite a few times.
Wow.
Oh, really?
I've seen him a couple of times. Yeah, I never got to shake his hand because Bruce Timm is always there blocking everybody. But he's the creator of Batman. So yeah, it's a lot of ego trip in the animation business.
Oh yeah, very much so.
Wow. So you were just in Klasky Chupo, or where else you worked at?
I worked at Klasky Chupo, then I worked at 6 Point Harness, and then I
worked there too. Yeah.
You did? No way.
Well, I actually talk about another botched job. No. Well, do you know now Vanessa? What's her name? The Latina. She's one of the producers. She was my producer on Scooby Doo. Not Valerie. She has like curly hair. Yeah, she's a nice woman.
I mean, it's been a long time, you know. Yeah, I worked with there. Yeah, I'm sure. Was Saw and what's the other dude's name? There's a dude, Saw and Angelo. Were they there?
Angelo, I talked to. Yeah.
Angelo's great. And Brendan, you know, he's like one of the, you know, he's the man. You know, like he built that thing up from the ground up. Like, and I was there pretty early on. You know, yeah, but they're cool.
Yeah. I'm not afraid to admit it. Sometimes I do fuck up some jobs, and I think that one was actually, it was like a weird, like an environmental one of those public service announcements by kind of some huge like Democratic donor. Like they threw in the money to produce it. it got too epic for me. I don't know what, something happened. But it's a nice place though. I enjoy the office there. You know
I worked before they even had. I left there before they got before they had the. I don't even know. Now they're over in like Echo Park area, you know. And before that, they were on Gower. They were at that old like horse carriage museum, and before that, they were on where Amatron. You know Amatron, like the audio place. It's right behind the Palladium. That's where their office used to be.
Oh, okay. I didn't know any history before that.
I was still there. Yeah, long time. I mean, it's probably been like 10 years since I've worked there.
Well, what were you doing? What was your job?
So I started off at Klasky Chuba. I started doing tech support. My stepdad was like a creative director on Ariel Monsters, and he worked on As Told by Ginger. So he was like they found him and they brought him out from like Russia. They flew him out here, and that's how he moved to the States. Was to like do that, and then and I started doing tech support, and then I was like, I'm bored with this. So then they were like, hey. Do you want to scan storyboards? You know, and I was like, well, that sounds boring, but it's like less boring than computers, you know. So it's scan storyboards and then line them up.
Those were the days, man, when it's on paper.
Oh yeah. So there was on this paper, and I would line it up and then put it into Premiere to do the animatics, and then ship that off. And then I was like, well, I'm bored with this, and they were like, oh, well, you want to do like prop design? So I worked my way up to like I think I did prop design. That was the last thing I did in animation. You know, which was fun. Like I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, you know, it's.
And then I started getting a little too loaded.
Yeah, because I was
going.
You know, okay, then I guess I can tell my story on how I fucked it all up. I'm trying not.
Give me
to
1 sec. I'm gonna grab an ashtray. 1 sec.
My door is kind of thin, and my kid's doing his homework right now. So
how old's your kid?
Yeah, he just made it to middle school. Is he starting out at middle school? The older kid,
okay.
he's gonna be. I don't know. He's 11 right now, and then the little one, he's 7. He's a second grade.
Cool.
Right now. So 2 boys.
What part of town do you live in?
Oh, I'm in Burbank.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. So it's well, I moved to Bergman because I was in animation. I wanted to be close to the studios. You know, that was the only reason. Yeah.
You do animation and draw storyboards?
Oh yeah. I can just start over the story. What happened was that I was in animation. I went to an animation school. I went to a CalArts. You know, CalArts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was studying character animation there, and I entered CalArts in '92. That was the golden age of 2D animation when everybody's trying to get into the business, and I think Lion King was coming out at the time. And so, I was studying animation. I learned how to flip paper. You know, this is before the 3D and everything. So just a lot of drawing on paper and flipping every day. I even got paper cut on my eyeball one time.
No way.
Yeah. Because I was super nearsighted. I had like really thick glasses. So when I animate, I have to take off my glasses. So I start flipping the paper. You know, the 1, 2, 3 like that. And then I was just really trying to draw, and then one time I was too close to the paper and just went slice into my eye white area. And I was winching for like I was blinking for like 2 days straight.
Dude, that's awful.
Yeah, luckily I didn't cut my vision. You know.
So you've been drawing storyboards for commercial directors now?
Yeah. I can start with before I get into the how I screw my life up talk. So I just explained my career path. So I was just telling Keith that I went to CalArts. You know, I studied animation there. I got my BFA there. I went there for 4 years like a sucker. all these people who are like directors and producers at Pixar and all that, they never finished their school. So I did the wrong thing. So I left with a lot of student loans to pay out. So that's how I got started. I was about to get into feature animation. I was interviewed by Brad Bird. Brad Bird, the director of Incredibles. And because I made a student film, they picked out about 10, 12 people just to have an interview with, because Brad Bird was working with Turner Feature Animation at the time. You know, Ted Turner, when he still had his company. And then So that was when I was graduating. I was really hoping to get on that, because he was making this. I guess I can talk about it. It's not a secret anymore. He had this baby. It's called Ray Gun. It's a ray gun project. Everybody in business have heard about it, but he never sold it to anybody. He's just clenching onto it. It's like his baby. It's like his treasure. Disney, he never sold the script to anybody. So I saw those color boards. It's an amazing looking thing. This guy Tony Facelli, he was his right hand man. He was the visual development guy. Beautiful paintings, the color boards, the presentation board, concept boards. And I saw it in the office when they were interviewing me. So I was graduating, and when I was graduating, that wasn't my first try and get into animation. My first job was at Hanna-Barbera. This was before Hanna-Barbera went under. I was on Johnny Quest. That was my third year.
Oh, rad.
My third year in college. Whoever's behind you, hello.
That's Uncle Vic. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Got excited because he saw Keith.
Oh, okay. That's funny. Yeah. So what happens is that my career has always been, I keep missing the train. Everywhere I go, something shuts the door. What happened was that I was really hoping Brad Bird would hire me. So when I was graduating, that's when Ted Turner decided to sell his company to Warner Brothers. So Turner Feature Animation went under just when I was graduating. So and I was like, I was gonna work on Ray Gun, and that thing just like all the phone lines were cut off. So I was just making phone calls. Nobody's picking a phone call. I called Hanna-Barbera. That one's gone too because Turner bought Hanna-Barbera, and then Warner Brothers bought Hanna-Barbera and Turner all together. So they just keep absorbing everything. So when I got out, when I graduated, I realized, oh my God, all my birds are disappeared. So when I graduated, I just went to work for Squaresoft. They make the Final Fantasy games, and it's a Japanese company, the video game company. So that was I was hoping I can get back on track with Brad Bird, but then so I didn't sign a contract with those guys, and they made those guys they moved to Honolulu to make Final Fantasy the movie, which was a big bomb. I don't know if you've seen that film.
No, I remember the ads though.
Yeah, they spent like $200 million on it. Those Japanese guys had a lot of money back then. Squaresoft was a big company. They opened in Marina del Rey. So it just very disenchanting. Everything. I couldn't go to Honolulu because I didn't sign the contract because I was waiting for Brad Bird to give me the phone call. And that didn't go through. So when everybody was going to Honolulu, I worked on a game called Parasite Eve. That was a project I worked on. It's a pretty gruesome game. But then when they went to Honolulu, and I said, "Hey, what about me?" And everybody's like getting free cars, they got free apartments. They're basically shipping everybody over there.
Wow.
All the animators, my boss, they were all from Digital Domain. Those studios, Digital Domain. That was the day when Venice Beach had all those studios. So all those guys went to Squaresoft, and everybody got shipped to Honolulu, living in paradise. And I got blocked because they said, "You didn't sign the contract. You said no to us." And I'm like, no. So,
wait, why'd they go to Honolulu?
They went to Honolulu to make the film, to make the Final Fantasy the movie,
to shoot the live action stuff. I see.
Well, it's all CG. The entire thing is CG. I don't know if they actually shot the live action footage. I forgot how they did it exactly, but it was a very expensive film. It almost cost as much as Titanic. And actually, funny thing, those guys worked on Titanic at Digital Domain. So it's the same guys. Steve Gray and Darnell Williams. These guys, they were like the king of CG back then. They were getting paid like president's salary.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So my career just been like back and forth. So there's a lot of disenchantment in my career, and I ended up when I lost that opportunity to go to Honolulu, I had to start scrambling, start looking for the next step, and I applied to Sony Animation. And Sony was just putting out Men in Black at the time, the movie. It hadn't come out yet. But, Sony, they've always been doing that. They've been planning everything ahead. Like, if they're going to put out a movie, they're going to have an animated series to back it up. Syncing, basically. So when the movie becomes a hit, people watch the TV animated series. So I worked on the Men in Black TV series after I took a test. So, but Sony that was 1998. I graduated in 96. And it was just a stark contrast. It was just brutal. Just abuse. I mean, if you look at storyboards for TV animation, like half-hour shows, they have 3 acts, right? Beginning, middle, and end for each act for each storyboard artist. So usually each act, like Disney, they're very generous. They'll have 6 weeks for the artist to do rough and clean. And then Sony, they started to, I don't know what the hell they did. They bribed the union. Basically, the animation guild is corrupt as hell. I say right now, if somebody's listening to this show, they're just like, don't hire this guy. but it's one of the least powerful unions in IATSE, you know that. And they have 6,000 people. They're making so much money from our dues. They don't bother to stop like outsourcing of our jobs and just they're basically Sony was abusing the labor so bad they keep cutting from when I got hired it was 5 weeks to do the storyboards. Disney was 6, and they started trimming. By the time I worked on Men in Black season 2, I love the show. I mean, the first season was my crowning achievement. I really love the show. I mean, it was very good design. It's designed by Prado, this comic book artist from Spain. Really good character designs, and I don't know if you've seen the animated series. It was very cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, the film was a hit. So, in the second season, that's when I started getting really jaded. I'm like, I don't want TV animation. I want to be featured in animation. And I lost that chance. I couldn't get anybody to hire me to feature. That's the thing. You step out of Cal Arts, you're on your own, basically. Good luck, having any classmates to give you a helping hand. And I was considered one of the better artists. And on Men in Black, I was one of the they always throw the action sequence to me because I really know how to handle action. But at that time, I started to get really, I just couldn't stand the grueling schedule. Imagine you have to do 3 weeks. At the very end, it became 3 weeks. That's like basically half the time that Disney allows. So I was going crazy. And at the time, I was already like, they started drinking, starting to go out and party. And you work hard, play hard, right? So, see, I was supposed to write down a note on my chronological order.
Oh, it's all good. Don't worry about that. Yeah, just go off the top. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to think where I should start. I think I'm drinking vitamin B12 to stay awake.
I'm glad you said something. We thought it was urine.
Yeah, I was like, oh, hell no.
I tried to beat the deadline. I can't even make it to the bathroom. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. So let's just where I left off, right, at Sony. So that was when I was, that was 98, right? So that was when I was 25. I was born in 73. I'm an old man. So at 25, my story is my crash and burn story is not going to be a long period, but you guys had a huge resume. Mine is but I'm not. I'm from a very strict family. Let's just say that. My dad was a military, and so there's a lot of I couldn't even go to art school. My dad he's a doctor who worked at Presidio before that military base got shut down in San Francisco. I went to high school in San Francisco. So I was from a normal family, basically. My mom was a soprano. She has a music career. And so when I came down to Los Angeles to study animation, that's what I really wanted. I wanted to do manga. I wanted to do anime at the time. I was more of a Japanese animation fan. And but Disney was doing really well at that time. So I'm just trying to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
So basically, that's what got me into it. I said, no, I said, wow. I didn't. It wasn't very reputable art school at first. And then I realized, oh, Walt Disney founded a school. So I'm like, oh, then I gotta go here.
Is that right?
He founded a school. Disney is on the board of trustee. It's basically Disney's pet school for the longest time.
Oh, okay.
Before that happened, it was called Trinard or Amazon. I think it was Trinard Art Institute. And then I think Disney bought the property, expanded it. And they started, Walt Disney wanted to expand in 1996. I mean, no, sorry, 69. But Walt Disney, I think he died in 69, right? I think he died in the end of
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So he died before the school was completed. But his nephew, Royal Disney Jr., whatever his name is, he continued and supervised the construction. So it became a Disney pet school. All the major animators I can think of all came from CalArts. Glenn King and I think he's from CalArts. John. No, I can name drop, but so let's just go. Okay, let's just fast forward. So if I spent 4 years and I lost all my opportunities, and I crawled into TV animation business, and Sony was just a sweatshop. So I was just losing my mind. I thought, okay, well, at least I have a job, but my weekend is my weekend. So that was a time I'm always a fan of electronic music. I've been listening to Kraftwerk and all that since high school.
Oh yeah.
And there's so old school electronica, and then all of a sudden trance came out. Back in the mid '90s, and I love like bands like Orbital, all these bands that came out. So I started to go to clubs, and I was really sheltered. I mean, not sheltered, but I couldn't do anything when my parents were around. In San Francisco, I sneaked out a few times. I went to some 16-year-old friendly clubs or whatever. There is one called Palladium, actually. That's the club I went to in San Francisco when I was 16 years old.
Really?
And you have to wear a wristband, so they can't serve you anything. You just go there and dance. break my curfew, sneak out the door and dance. And that was when that was when San Francisco had a radio. It's called Live 105. Have you heard of that? And they have a DJ called Steve Masters. So he's always spinning like excellent, whatever house, electronic mix, electro. So I was just immersed in electronic music. So when I was at Sony, I got to escape. So I started going to clubs. I was going to clubs when I was going to when I was working at Squaresoft. I would go to like classy clubs and bars in Venice Beach. And there's one called Pink. Do you remember Pink? With me on Main Street, right? That's when Jason Bentley, Jason Bentley.
Yeah,
yeah. So that was the night, Thursday night. I would go there every Thursdays, and so that was like the proper clubbing. Go drink your alcohol and whatnot. And then at Sony, that's when I started discovered other ways to have fun. That's when I started to go to raves. I was kind of an old. I was a little old to be a raver. I mean, a lot of kids, they go to raves since they were 15, 14 years old. But I started checking out raves, like the Dune or Juju Beast, you name it. Back then, it was like all the way out in the Inland Empire, the polo field. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you ever go to the Masterdome?
Masterdome, yeah.
Yeah. I went to the last rave there. I went to the very last rave they had. That was the first like big rave I went to.
I think I was there. I think that was the closing night. I remember that.
Yeah.
But something happened. I think somebody got
stabbed. So we were in line. This is crazy, So we were in line to get in, and we're like, all right, we're finally, because we had been to like a bunch of desert raves and parties and shit, But we were like, all right, this is it. We're going Masterdome, And we fucking got there, and there was like a line around the block. People had come from all over because this was like maybe like the biggest rave venue for that era in like the greater Los Angeles area. And we lined up, and we were like, all right, we got to get we got to get some pills, and we got to get some we got to get some tabs. And I'll never forget because it was my first time ever candy flipping. So we got dolphins. And that was like when the Blue Dolphins were like they were the shit. And then
yeah.
and then we got
that one.
Smurfs. Yeah, and we took the Smurfs in line, and that was acid. So we took like I think we took like 2 tabs each, and then we saved the Blue Dolphins. We're like, we'll do these once we get in. But before we were able to get in, the fire marshals came and they shut it down because it was like overcapacity or people were sneaking in or something,
Yeah.
So now we're like tripping balls, I don't know. I must have been like 15 or 16, and we're like, what are we going to do? We jumped into the car and we're like, we got to drive back to LA as quickly as possible so like we can go do something. And we went up to Runyon Canyon and like jumped the fence and walked up Runyon Canyon and got up to like the little view spot. And I'll never forget, we're sitting there and we're like, do you feel it? And we're like, no, do you feel it? We're like, but no, like that must have been some bunk fucking acid, and then we took the Blue Dolphins, right? And we were sitting up there and we look at each, and then like right as we take them, I just remember like the fucking acid kicking in, like immediately and being like, oh fuck, this is going to be crazy, and we stayed there till like the sunrise. I don't even know what we did, like smoked weed, just hung out at fucking Runyon Canyon waiting for the sun to come up, We thought we heard people in the bushes, like there's people who live here. Just, like,
I mean,
that's when it was fun.
I would do shrooms up there. I mean, that's beautiful setting. Now, I used to go to the Malibu, not Running Canyon. That's a little far from me at the time, but I'd go up the hills of Malibu, and you do shrooms up there. It's just incredible. I mean, the sunrise. We're watching the sun come up, sunset. But,
did you ever have a bad trip on mushrooms?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Maybe I can jump around. I jump around, but But the things that of all the psychedelics, shroom is always the happy stuff. I never had any bad trip from shroom.
Wow.
For some reason. But
great.
But here comes a funny story. This is like after all my trouble area. This is when I was like recovered already. So I had a friend, this huge guy. I haven't talked to him in a while. He's a fun guy. His name is. I better. Oh, maybe we should bleep it.
Yeah, we can bleep that.
We'll bleep that.
I think he's still there. Okay. So, but we were just always having fun. He used to take so much Xanax, and I actually talked him out of Xanax because he was losing. He's a very stressed guy. He's always in a lot of stress. He was divorced at a time, and but we would party with his ex-wife too. It was kind of funny. So he became my party buddy, and I just jumped at this one instance, and we would do bar hopping and all that, and he'd be slam drunk. He's a huge guy, so it takes a lot for him to get like crazy. And but this time there was this I forgot what exactly it was on Sunset. I think Sunset and Wilcox. I forgot where exactly it took place, but I think the Cat and Fiddle. It's just like a couple of blocks. Yeah, a couple of blocks down there. There was that
was a Cat and Fiddle. Yeah, that's gone now.
Yeah, I know. That was my favorite location. I was living very close there. And there was a shroom rave. It was all shrooms. And my buddy, Fernando, he's like, hey, let's go do it. And just me and him. I was like, what about everybody else? Everybody's like, everybody flaked. And he's a very high-powered guy. A lot of people couldn't handle him. I'm like his buddy because I'm easygoing. I can handle his high energy. So I was like, okay, let's do it. So we walked to my house. I used to live on Leland and Highland. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like ghetto.
Yeah.
A lot of weird, crazy people at night. Yeah, crackers come out. But so I walked over there with him, and then we got our buddy there who had a Beetle, VW Beetle, and it just huge bags of it. And I've never seen so many mushrooms. I'm like, that's a lot of psilocybin, just like stacked in them. And like, how do you drive like that? So we chipped in, and our buddy hooked us up, and so we got we started out with 16. I think we started with an eighth.
Mm-hmm.
So we took that, and I took it out. It was usually it's kind of nice and soft, and got the nice gold threads and all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And this one's like dried, like toothpicks. Like, what is it? And the caps are like this small. So I'm like, all right, let's just do it. And when we walked in, it was still kind of empty at the time, but every room's got like lights everywhere. It's got all the Christmas lights. It's got 3D glasses everywhere.
Wow.
And I'm like, there's so many 3D glasses. So we just start wearing them, just walk around like idiots. And then we're waiting for people to come in. So then they said, okay, there's nobody. Let's just do it. We just open the bag and just put the whole thing in our mouths. So we just started sitting in the lounge area, waiting for like half an hour, waiting for it to happen. And I didn't eat any dinner because I wanted to, I didn't want anything to delay. So I had an empty stomach at the time. So I just sitting there. We're both wearing 3D glasses, and we're just like, hey, how you feeling? He's sitting across the lounge, and I was like, he's like, I'm fine. How the fuck are you? I said, I don't feel a fucking thing. He's like, me neither. So we just yelling at each other. So it's like, and now the music started to build up. They start playing like Goa trance stuff, and they're like, dude, people are coming in, dude. It's not happening. So we got a little pissed. It's an hour already. So what's up? So we went to the guy. I said, dude, it's Keith. Okay, he blinked out. So we confronted the guy. I said, dude, this is bunk, man. What's up? And he said, oh, don't worry about it. So he threw another eighth at us. So we both have 1/8. So basically, we took everything, and that was a quarter. So we both have the quarter of it, and this time with a bigger cap. So, and we're just walking around like, dude, let's walk around, man. Don't sit, man. So we started like dancing and walking around. And then the fire dancers show up. The fire dancers, like, all these sexy girls are doing fire dancing. There's fire everywhere. And we're like, dude. And I look at, dude, did you feel it? No, fuck no. And I'm like, oh, dude, and we can't ask for another bag anymore. So basically, we just got pissed. And like, screw this. All right, let's get. I could have stayed, but totally sober. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. It was my buddy. He was enraged. So he's like, let's go back to your place. Fuck it. So we start walking towards the parking lot, and there's a brick wall. And make a left, and you get out of the place. And before I was probably about 10 feet away from the wall, and I was walking. I was like, boom! I was like, dude, oh fuck! I just hit the wall. And my buddy just kept walking. He didn't even stop. He's so mad. He just kept marching. So I'm 10 feet away from the wall, and I thought I hit the brick wall. I'm like, dude, did you? And then he just kept walking. He didn't even mind me. So I'm like, dude, wait up. So we start walking, and we walk towards the Sunset Boulevard. This is like 3 or 4 in the morning already. The party was raging already. We were there for like 2 hours of nothing. And I was like, dude, what's up? So I walked out. Just the minute I walk into Sunset Boulevard, the entire Sunset Boulevard, there's no traffic. It was quiet at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. The entire street became like Persian carpet. Like fractals. Like the entire street, as far as I can see, turned into a freaking fractal design. And all these, it's like computer, like a screensaver, the whole cement, like a screensaver. And I just walking, following Fernando, and I said, Fernando, wait up, dude. And I looked up, and he just kept walking. He totally ignored me. So I know he's mad, so I'm just like chasing him. And I look up the trees on Sunset Boulevard. They're like Nintendo. They're like Mario Brothers. There's like fruits jumping up and down, and all the leaves are like pixelated, and everything's like bouncing around, and everything's so happy. All the trees are alive, and I'm like, dude, look at the trees. And he just kept walking. I said, dude, do you not realize what's going on? It kicked in. And he's just like, I know. Let's go back to your house now. And then basically, he has to go get his Xanax. He was stressing the fuck out. He was the thing kicked in and was raging, and he was losing control of himself. Yeah. So that's when I learned never to do it with him ever again. You don't want to babysit, and that's what ended up happening. I walked all the way back, and at the time there was a Nick Tuck, Nick Tuck, the TV show, the Fox, the plastic surgery show. There was a big billboard on Sunset Boulevard, and the two doctors, whatever their names are, they're inside a breast implant, right? And the breast implant was rotating, and I, dude, get inside and look at it spinning, dude. And he's like, just get to your house. He's just screaming at me. So I was just admiring everything. Everything is like Las Vegas, everything's going off. So I went back to my room, and there's like, I got this dirty little apartment with like carpet, and the carpet was dancing with me. It was just like, yeah. And I just had to go down and talk to them. Like, dude, you guys are dancing, dude. And my friend Fernando, he just jumped on the couch and, dude, put something on TV, man. I'm freaking out. So I was like, dude, chill out, have some fun, man. And then I turned on TV. I put on some movies, and then I think I put on Kung Fu Soccer. What is it called? The Hong Kong film, Shaolin Soccer, something like that. And then
Shaolin
it was funny.
Soccer, yeah.
I thought I'm gonna put on some funny film. And then I skipped around, and there was a scene where there's a breathing fire dragon. And when he kicked the ball, turned into a dragon. Fernando just freaked the fuck out. He's just like, and like, dude, I took the DVD out. I was scrambling, like, how to calm this big giant guy. He's gonna kill me. So I found this is Spinal Tap. We watched the entire thing, and he just laughing. And actually, I skipped this part before I put in the movie. He wanted to go to sleep. When we first got in my place, he wanted to crash on my couch. You're like, go to crash. Of course, when he turned off the light, it just rainbow. It's a rainbow.
There's no sleeping.
Black.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, and we were like, and he just screamed, and I had to get up. I went to the bathroom. I was reading a book, and everything was falling off the book. And then, okay, this would lead to my next. I'm going to talk about ayahuasca later, but then these three beings, I don't really see them very clearly, but they're like crystal. You can see the outline, right? It's just sparkle, and then the text was falling off my book, and I looked up. I think I was reading Maxim magazine, something like that. Yeah, somebody's greeting with me.
Yeah.
He was saying hello to me. So when I looked up, those three beings were standing in front of me when I was sitting in the toilet. And not very pronounced, but I can see a sparkle all around the contour. And they tried to grab my magazine. That's when I freaked out. I ran out of the bathroom. I didn't even realize who they were until later. But that's when I jump into the remember Fernando's still freaking out. That's when I started putting the movies, and then this is Spinal Tap end up calming him down. he could finally go to sleep after the movie was over. So if you guys ever anything goes wrong, put in that movie, you'll be fine.
Oh yeah.
So that's a shroom story. But otherwise, yeah, it's always been beautiful. I usually enjoy the visuals. I never like done it that much ever again. In the future, just like make a little tea, whatnot. I went to see. I went to El Capitan to see which Pixar film came out. I went with my film. I forgot. With another mutual friend. We went to see the movie, and I just took one cab. It was great. Yeah, El Capitan. They have the song and dance at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
So that worked out pretty well. Not too heavy. You don't want to freak out in front of a bunch of children. It was like a premiere night. I forgot which Pixar film, but
wow.
Yeah. So that's that. And yeah. Well, I can keep talking about how do you guys any directions, or I just keep going?
No, you want to tell us about the ayahuasca?
Yeah.
I say that for last. How about that? Because
cool.
they kind of resolve. Oh, how much time we got? I'm sorry I started late. So
no, all good.
We don't have any limit.
Yeah, we're good. Okay, I got about an hour before I'm going to jump onto a meeting. But we're good. We're good on time.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to get to that because I felt that ayahuasca was like the ultimate cure. Some people like to do it because they want to go crazy and see the other world, but it was like a medicine for me because I was having some demons that I got to get rid of at the time.
My favorite movie on mushrooms was Zoolander. Yeah, my sister gave me the DVD, and I had like a bunch of mushrooms, and I got home one night. I think I had some girl that I was like gonna hook up with, and she was like she wasn't having it, and I was all mad. So I came home and I was like, I'm gonna eat these mushrooms, and I was like, well, what am I gonna do? I'm just sitting on my own, and they started hitting me, and I go, what the fuck, and I had it was like a Zoolander DVD, and I remember putting it in and like before like the intro was through, I couldn't see faces in it, you know, like their fucking faces are melting and all like the different, you know, like all the costumes in it, you know, like they're all fucking wearing Will Ferrell's like dressed all, you know, the whole thing is just like absurd, you know. But I remember watching it and being like, this is the best fucking movie I've ever seen, period, the end. There's nothing better. Like I think I almost pissed my pants, you know. And then I watched it again, like, you know, I don't know, months later, and I'm like, man, that was so good. And I'm not on mushrooms, you know, and I was like, oh, this is good. Like, it's good, you know, but it wasn't what I remembered it like. So then, like, I think I watched it like 3 or 4 more times on mushrooms, you know?
Dude, I never took mushrooms, but I took a lot of acid, and and it was always fun. And I've been arrested twice on it, but I remember I would get so mad. This is like before like On Demand. This is like in the like early, you know, late 80s, early 90s. But you remember what was that thing the South Park guys made with the puppets? Remember America? Fuck yeah!
Oh,
remember that movie?
Team America, something like that.
Team America. Okay, so Team America is a knockoff of an old like 60s or 70s puppet show. And,
yeah.
Okay, so back then, like that, it would just randomly be on in the middle of the night, and I loved it. You know what I mean? I thought it was the coolest shit. These puppets on a spaceship and shit. And dude, I was so resentful. Like every time I do acid, I was like, why the fuck can't that show come on, right? And and I'm talking like a lot of times. I was so mad. And I was like, because it seemed like, you know, whenever I didn't have any acid, that shit would be on, you know? Mm-hmm. So dude, it must have been like, God, it must have been 91 or 92. We took acid. We were at a Hampton Inn in West Covina, and we're in this hotel room. And I remember, like, I come walking out. Dude, my friend and his girlfriend are sleeping in a sleeping bag in the hallway of the hotel. But I turn the corner into the hotel, and I'm tripping, and I turn the TV on, and that's on. And I was like, it was like winning the lottery. I was like, everybody quiet. You know, like,
but it worked out okay. I mean,
it worked out great. But dude, it was years of pain trying to get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, it's funny thing is that I've done tabs many times, but I never had any good experience with LSD. It's
really?
I mean, all happens is things start melting and beautiful girls turn into wax, you know, and just like nightmare vision. like this is not sexy at all. You know? Yeah, it just everybody's saying a lot of people have enlightening experience, but never. I mean, it's only shrooms, and also ayahuasca, but yeah, I never got up to a good start with acid for some reason. I guess it's just my body chemistry.
Did you burn any bridges like partying or like lose jobs or anything?
Okay, yeah. So this is what I'm going to get to. So knowing that Keith is a meth.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go into that journey. Okay. So this is why. So this is why I was going to Sony, because Sony was basically my starting point where I say, fuck this business. And I tried everything I could. I just a quick leeway. I was trying to get into live action at the time. I worked on Stuart Little. I sneaked into the Sony, the Columbia. Yeah, I walked into the lot because I had the badge at the time. I could have lunch inside. Our studio is outside. I forgot the name of the street. It's a separate building outside of the studio lot, but we could walk through the gate with our badge. So I sneaked in and I brought my portfolio, and I just happened to run into the art department to hire me, but nobody told me about the union, which is a nightmare to get into. I'm a member of the Art Directors Guild now, but it took me 20 years to get in, and I still can't work on films. I'm still working on my hours to work on films.
Wow.
Yeah.
20 years later, still struggling. So basically, I say, screw these guys in animation, screw Men in Black 2. You know, these guys are slave drivers. So I quit. I walked out. I said, I got hired by Stuart Little. F you, fuck you. So I worked on it for about 2 weeks, and then somebody called the feds. The FBI came and busted Sony, busted the Stuart Little production, which you don't hear anybody talking about it, but the agents came in with the guns drawn.
No way.
I was not there. I didn't see it. It was 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. I got a call from the producer, which I won't say his name. You can nope, we'll figure out who to produce it. He's a big name now. He's producing a lot of shows, so I better be careful. So basically, everybody was playing dumb at the time. So, oh, really? You can't hire people who are not union? Blah, blah, blah. You know? So there were like 5-6 artists who were not union and got hired by Stuart Little. And I was one of them. So he told me not to go in. Say, we got to wait till the dust settles. I said, no, you didn't lose the job. We'll try to figure this out. So I'm like, I just quit animation, man. I just told everybody, fuck you. I told these animation people, fuck you. I never come back here again. And all of a sudden, this happened. So I was just grabbing my hair like, oh my God. So he told me to stay at home when he was trying to figure out what happened. This ambulance. So I waited at home every day, almost every day. That producer would call me and say, hey, Eddie, hang on. I'm gonna get some voucher. I'm gonna vouch for you. So, you know, Keith, you're union, so you probably know how it works. So basically, they try to say, hey, Eddie already got his feet in the door. Let's try to get him in, but they have to go through 10 union artists. If those artists do not make it, that they keep firing. They hired a union guy, laid him off. 6 of them just trying to get to me. So it took 2 months of waiting, no money coming in. This guy just keep playing it and say, hey, you know, just wait. And finally he said, Eddie, we're running out of budget. We gotta really go full speed. And the whole thing is basically unionizing, gotta go. So all of a sudden I realized I'm out of a job. And guess what? I crawled back to Sony TV. Everybody that I know, even people who were cleaning up my drawings, I was the number 1 guy at the time. People would call in and contest that, but I was one of the major guys. I swear to God. So all these guys all got promoted. They all became directors on the 2nd season. So I walked in and heard all these guys like, hey, Eddie, how's Stuart Little working out for you? So I got hired back, but of course, the slave driving got even worse. You know, it became 3 weeks. So that's when I started partying. Like I told you guys, I started go every weekend, and I discovered this club. Of all the raves and all these places, I discovered a club called Insomnia. You know?
Oh,
Insomnia?
I know that one. Yeah.
Have you been there?
No, this is in the early 90s, right?
This was. It started out in 97 or 98. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was the seediest, dirtiest little piece of shit bar in the middle of Crenshaw. It's on Crenshaw Boulevard. You know, you know that neighborhood. My God,
yeah.
You don't want to walk around.
Yeah.
The security has to watch your card. You know, you pay the security, so he'll watch your car, otherwise it'll get broken into. So I discovered that little joint. That became my church. I go to church every Saturday. It starts from I go there from 10 o'clock, which is usually kind of quiet. So sometimes I go in at midnight. It go all the way till like they close the door at 6 in the morning. How do I stay up till 6 in the morning? So of course now I was rolling my ass off all the time. You know, it's just everything you can think of, everything Mitsubishi's, you know, the Blue Dolphins, a lot of pink stuff. I forgot the names already. There's all these car brands you can imagine, all the Mercedes and the stuff.
Oh yeah, the Maseratis, all that.
Maserati, the Ferraris,
Ferraris.
And that was a time when they were pressing good pills.
Yeah,
you know that was before things got speedy.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what became the introduction. Is that because back then they were having so many good pills, but some people start complaining and say, hey, it's not speedy enough, it won't get me up and dancing. So of course they start lacing it with more and more other ingredients. So as it progressed, you know, I started making friends with the owner of Insomnia. It was actually run by this guy who was ex-Marine. he used to launder his money in Panama when, you know, remember when we invaded Panama back in the 90s? Maybe I wait for Keith.
No, I'm here.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I know it's getting dark.
Sorry.
So it was run by 2 guys, Bill and George. And Bill is an ex-Marine, this white guy, burly man, and he used to throw all the desert raves. any of those raves that you can think of, he got his hands on. So I was like partying with those guys and getting hooked up and getting my pills from those guys, and then I started to the pills started getting very strong. They started to become very speedy, and then I started cringing. And I'm always grinding. I'm a grinder. That's why my teeth is all messed up right now.
Oh yeah.
all of my teeth are all like fractured. So at Insomnia, that's when I started to pick up. There are a lot of sexy girls at the time. There are a lot of like raver girls back in the '90s that dressed up like. You gotta love that fashion back in the days. They like got the crack top and everything with the bees, everything.
Yeah, I still love it. I still love it.
It was great. It was like Paul Van Dyke and all these people were. Actually, that little club had all the big name DJs. They
Really?
wanted to go there. Yeah, they didn't want to go to big club because it's such a mess to deal with. All the promoters are assholes. So you go to this little club, and it's like they can party and. They can party. They can sit in the lounge area, which is the parking lot, and people just do all kinds of stuff over there in the back. It's dark. There's no light, so everybody do whatever they want to do. So it was fun, and then so this is what happened. That's the place where I got introduced to crystal. I forgot the exact. Well, I was doing lines at the time. That's when a lot of the little etards, the ravers, they all evolved to the next step, which they all became tweakers because that's the only way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because the pills got so speedy, it's all of a sudden they in tune with it. They got tuned in. They're like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
So and here's a funny story about having introduced to me. Back then, the first exposure I saw was an Israeli guy. He was actually an IDF. He was a militant, and he married this white girl, and she's the one who gave me the bag. And then when I started to ask from her, that guy got mad. He thought I was hitting on his wife. He almost choked me to death. He pressed me. He threw me against the wall in the Insomnia, just like. And this guy probably killed a few Palestinians. I don't know what the hell. It just threw me against the wall. Don't you fucking talk to her about it. And that's when I knew this girl was completely tweaked out. I don't know if they were really married up, but she started to follow me around. And then that's why one thing led to another. Started to meet the whole network. You started to figure out who's got what. And I started realizing it came from everywhere. It came from, well, that's the Israeli source. But then I figured out who the Chinese guys were that were supplying them also. That's another scary story. I got a lot of scary stories, which I'm going to get into. It gets really scary in a short span of 2 years. Yeah, it's a highway to hell. And so what happened was, well, my timeline is a little messed up, so I'm going to jump around. So I met this cute little Romanian girl. She was flirting with me, but then I realized that she just back in the days, there were a lot of these girls who were junkies and they want to find a place to stay. Mm-hmm. And so that became a problem. Like, it's like they could have a normal family and normal career, but they ended up becoming like these little tweak wars. Nothing ever happened between me and her, but we became friends. But she started staying in my house and started introducing me to more people that I didn't want to, not supposed to meet. So we went back and forth like that, and I started saying, "Hey, I met this guy. He had it too. Oh, you." And I realized everybody knows each other. I thought, oh, this is a network. So there's the Chinese guys, which there was the Wachins, the Chinese gang. They were. I don't know about now. I think they disappeared. They probably disbanded. And
somebody was just telling me that they're making a comeback.
I don't know because China's got everything. China's got all the ephedra, right?
Yeah.
Let's jump to this. That photograph that I sent you guys. I don't know if Charlie showed it to you.
Yeah, I saw him.
It's that scan, right? I was I was holding the newspaper. I went to Mexico in 2007. I was doing soul searching. I decided to get out of trouble. So I went to Mexico to work for Senor Frogs, the
Bar?
Yeah, more trouble. Everywhere I go, there's more alcohol. So, no, but when I first got hired, that's when 2007 they just arrested the Chinese guy in Mexico City. You probably seen the photograph. It became famous on the internet. It's just a room full of stacked with $100 bills, all the way like top, almost reached the roof. I mean the ceiling. That guy, I forgot his name, Yao, something like that. I don't know his name. He was supplying the Mexican cartels with ephedrine, press ephedrine. And you know what that's good for, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, Keith knows. If anybody knows, that motherfucker does.
Yeah. So that guy got arrested because the cartel told the police, because the cartels were working with the police in Mexico all the time. He was naive enough to think stashing all the cash in his house is safe. So basically, they've confiscated all that money and then left that guy to. He was escaping. He ran to. He got extradited, but he's not serving time. He's serving time in the U.S. I think he would have died in Mexico prison. There's no way he would have survived in Mexican prison. So that's why I got handed a newspaper, because it says that guy, he got arrested. He said, "Hey, it's tu primo. It's your cousin." So that's a little side story of that photo. I have no idea what they're talking about. That's when I read, oh my God, this guy just arrested. He looks kind of like me. Got the baby face. Yeah. So it's crazy. So you can imagine where the source came from. I mean, people say, oh, they grow the ephedra in Mexico. No, I mean, China is the place to grow it in a mass amount. So I, like you said, I wouldn't doubt that China is making a comeback, whatever they are. I tell you one story. There's another, because the biker gangs, the Hells Angel, whatever, you guys talked about on the show quite a few times. When I was throwing raves, I was promoting, right? And I ran into this white girl. She was promoting too. She was helping me promote my club, which I get into. I end up throwing a rave. So she was helping me, but she later disclosed to me that her dad is one of the leaders in Palm Springs, one of the chapters. And some burly guy. I don't know. I never met him, but it sounds scary. It sounds like this guy can do some damage. So I was like, I'm here partying with his daughter. But then one time she told me to give her a ride. She said she's in trouble because what happened was that she was supposed to ship 3,000 pills, e-pills. She had a partner. Her partner betrayed her, took all the pills. Of course, they're supposed to sell it. So that guy ran away with all the 3,000 pills. 3,000.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of pills. Yeah.
So, and those were supplied by the Chinese. So she told me, she's like, Eddie, I'm in trouble. I need to. She was hiding at my place. She was hiding at my place for about a good week or so. Oh, make sure my wife's not listening. So we were kind of we were kind of messing around, but it never got like serious, but just kind of like, hey, you're at my place. Hey, well, give me something. but nothing really happened. You want to hide? Come on. So, but eventually she said, no, I got to go. I got to meet these guys. And I was like, what do you have to do? I mean, did you find the guy who took it? And no, I got to talk to the Chinese guys. So I'm like, are you crazy? And then because they had a really bad reputation. There was a war going on with the Korean gangs and the Vietnamese gangs, and but the Wachings were very powerful at the time. So she said that they made a threat because they know that it happened and they want their money back. So she told me, say, you got to take me to the meeting in downtown. It's like around the 110 and 101, the crazy where all the tents are, Yeah. And it was supposed to drive her there in this crazy little building that nobody even attends anymore. They have a meeting there. They say they want to see her to negotiate. So I was like, why do you want to do that? She said, they threatened to kill my dad. They said they know where my dad lives in Palm Springs and they're going to kill him. And I'm like, these James want to go ahead and kill one of the leaders of the Hells Angels. I'm like, this is crazy, right? So I didn't quite believe her at first, but I thought, okay, I'll give you a ride. Let's go. So I drove her to a crazy area. I was about to get mugged. It's so shady over there. I parked, and then she said, just wait here. I'm going to go in. So they saw the building with light on. So she walked in. It took long enough. I'm like, I don't want to sit in my car. I'm going to get killed out here. So I got out. I started walking into the building just very quietly. And I walked up to the second floor. I saw that she's standing there in a round table with all these Chinese guys in suits.
Oh.
Basically, they want to deal with her. They said, she said she doesn't want her dad to get killed. It was serious. They were going to do it. They said, if you keep hiding, we're gonna get rid of your family. So I was like, "Whoa, this is bad." I didn't want to show my face. I ran back to the car, but I just cracked the door open. There was like this Latina maid, and she's cleaning the hallway. She's just like, "What are you doing here?" Just like peek in. I'm like, "Wow." These guys, like the typical yakuza, whatever they look like. So like, oh no. So after that, she left. So that was when I realized everybody there's a gang war with that's when meth was that was in 99 almost 2000. That's when things were getting really serious. There's a big business. A lot of people starting to get into it, and I was starting to getting knee deep into it. So I'm going to get to what happened to Sony, right? So I was partying, and then I started meet up with these people at Insomnia. Everything happened in Insomnia. I started meeting all these crazy people. This one guy, and then he gave me the flyer. His name is Jeremy. He's half Thai, half Dutch. His mom is Dutch, Dutch American, whatever. I learned later that his dad was one of the major opium smugglers from the Golden Triangle, a Thai Chinese guy. So he was arrested by FBI in the early 90s. So he basically was raised by his mom. So he became a bad boy basically, and so he started to doing his own clubs, and he was throwing a rave on Vine and I don't know if it's Vine and Santa Monica, I forgot, but this one of the warehouses, and I went in. He invited me there, and I was like, "This place is happening." There were like 300 people jumping up and down. But the thing was, it was illegal, so it got shut down. And when it got shut down, we became friends. So I helped him clean up, pack. He's like, "Oh, you don't have anywhere to go, huh?" I said, "Yeah, dude, we can do it, man. You got some money? We should go rent another spot." I'm like, "Dude, you just got shut down by the cops. You want to do another one?" So, but obviously, I didn't know much about him at the time, and that's when I thought, "Fuck animation. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna run the club." so I was still at Sony. I was starting to do more and more lines. I started to smoke. Because of Jeremy, this guy, he started introducing me to the Thai stuff. And that's when I saw the first time I saw a kryptonite. It's like
What's
this
that?
big. It's just pure ice. It's this beautiful,
Crystals?
Yeah, it's a perfect crystal. It was a sample. He said, "Don't chop it up. It's a sample kit." So that thing would probably make like 100 lines, But I was like, I just admiring that stuff, wow. So that was the Thai stuff. So his cousin was cooking. I didn't know that. It led to another story, which got me in more and more trouble with this guy. So we through him, I started meeting other guys. I never hang out with like Asian people. I have like mixed friends all the time. But this time it was like, here's this half Asian guy. He brought in another rich kid who's half Thai. Mom is Thai, dad is white, who owns a warehouse in Chatsworth. He's like one of the major importer of the Pier 1 import stuff. Those they'll get those cool wooden sculptures and stuff like that, potteries from Thailand, Southern Asia. So he was a rich kid. And then another rich kid from Singapore, whose mom owns this giant hair salon chain, academy, beauty salon academy. So two rich kids and one working stiff and one gangster. So the four of us, we're just like, okay, let's chip in the money together. So we were at first we were just jumping around looking for bars to look for like a nightly gig and just see if it happens that we can maybe get us some kind of a deal, like a contract or not. But at the very end, we're just like, this is not working. Everybody wants too much money. So eventually we said, okay, let's go rent a spot. The guy who has the perfect business credential is the half Thai guy, Ned. And he signed all the papers. Basically, we were scouting and we finally found a spot on Fairfax. You know, Fairfax where the Jewish neighborhood and the black neighborhood clash. It's right around there. I forgot the exact cross street. I was like, because he found the spot. So I was like, what did we get? So we drove there, and then we realized it's on the second floor. It's a Jewish learning center. It's where they learn, to read their Torah, whatever the heck they're doing there. So there are all these like student chairs laying around. It's like all windows, super bright. It looks like a classroom, a big classroom.
Water.
Yeah, actually, I need to drink some. So,
you got a lot of different drinks there, Eddie.
Yeah. I swear, this is just water. It's not
water, urine.
Beach
Super soaker. Yeah.
Super soaker.
Cup.
Yeah. So that was 99, 98. So we got the spot. He signed the paper. So they said, let's do it. I'm like, do what? Let's clean this place out. So Jeremy ordered a truck, a loading truck. I don't know where he got it, U-Haul, wherever. We started throwing the chairs out of the window. All these student chairs, probably like 50 of them, just throw them out, blah, blah, blah. So we're just throwing everything out. We went to Home Depot. We got fiberglass. We got soundproof foaming. We got black paint. We got black lights. We got every single thing. And basically, I was footing the bill a lot of times. I was the guy who had the money at the time. So okay, what are we doing? And then this guy's, let's start do it. Let's start hammering the windows shut. We're in the middle of a quiet Jewish neighborhood, and we want to throw a rave.
Mm-hmm.
So we start to fiberglass. That's when I realized fiberglass was dangerous. I got fiberglass all over my fingers. I couldn't even close my fist for like 2 or 3 days. So we were basically sealing all the windows shut, airtight. We nailed everything with plywood. We painted my room. I was a trance guy. I was a transit, so I'm in charge of the transit. So I brought my turntables. I got my best tax mixer and my Technics, and then Ned is a house guy, which I don't even bother. I hated house at the time. Like, you have your colorful, rainbow-looking, whatever, fruity tooty. So there's like 3 rooms. So and okay, it took about a month or so. When less than that, it was just construction. The guy didn't even ask what we were going to do with this place. This old Jewish guy. I'm trying to fast forward. The story gets a little long. So we started our business. I was going on Sunset Strip. I was giving out the flyers. That's when I saw Van Damme got kicked out of Bar Fly. you know the actor Van Damme.
Oh yeah,
Van Damme.
I know him well. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's when his career was going downhill. So he got thrown out of Bar Fly. I was giving out flyers. I saw Van Damme got kicked out. He's like, "Don't you know who I am?"
That's
Muscles
amazing.
and Brussels. Yeah.
That's
So that was when I was like promoting really heavily, and so we have the opening day. So the opening day, we were not expecting much. Oh,
he'll be back. Yeah, he'll be back.
Okay. And so what happened was, we set a date. So we had an opening day. It's on the flyer. Something like 500 people showed up. 10 o'clock. People were parking beep, beep, boop, boop, beep, beep, boop, boop, everywhere. Imagine the neighbor just starts sticking their head out.
Wow.
What the fuck is going on? And we just like, we had a lot. The trick is to let the line build up. So we just like wait till the line got huge and then started letting people in. The capacity is no more than 100 people. and there were 600 people waiting outside. We were charging like $10 each. The first night, we easily made like $3,000 in cash, and that was like, wow. No, we did not think that we'd become entrepreneurs. You know? So I was still working at Sony at the time, mind you. This club runs from 10 o'clock to 8 in the morning. And we're talking about nobody wants to go on Monday. So it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. No Sundays. We go to church on Sunday. So we were doing, it just started expanded. We were just starting out with 1 or 2 days. So I was already a tweaker at the time. And because of this schedule, I was like, I cannot handle this. I got to crawl back to Sony and do some crazy storyboards. And actually, Men in Black was over at the time. It was Max Steel. If any of my colleagues listening, this is like a tell-all, basically a confession, because I don't give a shit about my history anymore. People always ask me what the heck happened to me in those missing months. I came back to the studio with blonde hair, with animal prints. Some cute little girl dyed my hair. I was 40 pounds lighter, or maybe 80 pounds lighter than what I am now. I'm a fat bloke right now. I was skin and bone. I was trying to look for that picture for you guys, but I couldn't find my license. That was my license. I kept it for the longest time. I was like completely soaked in. I was a zombie. My eyes were like twice as big. You know the story. So this is what happened at Sony. Okay, so I was doing the club. I'm the one who closed the shop. Everybody ran away before I do. I'm like, what the fuck? There's a whole bunch of mess. You know, you imagine the mess left behind every night. Tons of baggies, tons of crap. So, and I ran. I was okay. I got to go back to Sony. So I worked. I had to get a deadline on this show. I didn't do any drawings. 3 weeks to do the storyboards. I had a director. If he sees me, he's gonna kill me. I basically trashed him. Before I get there, there's another story with this guy. Okay, the director, he got nominated for Emmys, daytime Emmys for. He made a Martin Luther King kind of tribute animation. He won the award. He invited me to go to the Emmys. I was partying hard. I was dating a Swedish girl. At Insomnia, I met up with a Swedish girl. And she had it's like basically these Swedish nannies that come here for fun. You know, they came. It's like Tiger Woods' wife. They came to America to become nannies, right? Take care of people's kids. So I was dating one. So what happens is that I broke up with this one girl, and her friend was very pretty. So I thought I invite her. She wants to be an actress. So I said, hey, I got invited to the Emmys. You want to go? So my director invited me. So I thought, oh, let's go. I was doing lines. I was smoking my pipes. I got my tuxedo. I was supposed to go and sit next to him. Red carpet, you know, the whole 9 yards. You know Emmys, if you've been to Emmys. Yeah. It's a big deal. It's a big fucking deal. I crashed. It was a Korean girl in my place, smoking out with me. She didn't bother to wake me up. I blacked out on my carpet. There were 20 messages on my phone.
Oh, yeah.
This girl was screaming, "What the fuck are you? I'm all dressed up. I spent like $300 on my hair, blah, 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 blah." Okay, so that happened. Then, okay, so he got mad at me. The director's like, why did you not show up? I gave you a free ticket. Why didn't you go? Yeah, I got drama. So then it comes to that time I was supposed to beat the deadline. I shut down the club. I crawled to Sony, wee hour in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. I got a deadline that morning. And I thought, you know, I brought my baggie. I was doing some lines. I was like, gotta keep up. I was up for like 3-4 days already at the time. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I can finish it in 2 hours. We're talking about like 100 drawings.
How many drawings?
The whole act can be up from 400 to 500 drawings in
2 hours.
2 hours.
Did you do it?
Thought I could.
Yeah.
I went to the basement of the studio. Nobody could. I went into the darkest corner in the supply room where all the chairs are stacked up. The dirty little room. I hid in there, set up my alarm clock. When I wake up, the sun was out, and I thought, "Oh, that's weird." I thought the sun should be. It's still like it's like the break of dawn. So I got out. I said, "Oh, the sun still hasn't come out. It's about to come out." Then I realized, wait a second, something's wrong here. There's nobody here. At this time, it was 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Supposed to have people in there already. Now look at the clock again. 7 p.m. I crashed in the basement for 12 hours.
No way.
There was a note on my desk from the director. It says, "Eddie, where the fuck are you?"
Oh man.
And guess what? Can you imagine what happened the next day? I lost a ton of weight. I told you I had blonde hair. I was scaring the heck out of everybody. The manager who trusted me for a couple of years, and she just like, this is it. This guy's done. So I got called into the PR, the HR office, the tribunal. Basically, the 3 people sitting there by the desk. So they like say, "Hey, Eddie, you know what this is about, right?" I said, "Am I fired?" I just say, on the table, there's a tribunal, 1 woman and 2 men. They talk to me, and they look at me and they're like, "Eddie, you need help." I'm like, "Just fire me. I don't need any help." They sent me a little pamphlet. The pamphlet just says Sony Family Crisis Center, emergency hotline, this and that. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Like I was just like, I got a club to run, man. So I got out of there. I literally thought, fuck animation for good. That was my say. I hate everybody. I hate the deadlines. You guys are a bunch of slave drivers. So that was the end of that chapter in my career. I crawled to the club, and then this is when things started getting funny. We were making money, right? And one day, same thing. I crashed on the couch. I have nowhere else to go. I don't have a job anymore. So I just in the only room that had a window. Everything's shut, sealed shut. The front window is open. There's some fresh air. I can breathe. The AC is broken. So I was just like passed out. And all of a sudden I hear this crazy yelling, "Hey, open the gate!" in this crazy Yiddish accent. "Open the fucking gate!" No, he didn't use the F word. But I looked out the window and I saw this old man. So he looks familiar. And I thought, yeah, the landlord's here. He had a young son, probably like just about 20 years old. His son was following him downstairs. And I was by myself. And the place, like somebody just dropped a nuclear bomb in there. There's trash everywhere. There's baggies everywhere. I tried to throw everything out. All the lights were taken out, mind you. There's no lights. The only way we can have lights is the black light, which during daytime it doesn't work. That was my room. My room was way in the back. So there you go. This guy's screaming, opening the gate. I don't have the key. You guys got my only copy. Blah blah blah. So I'm like, where? Hello, Ned. I was looking around. My buddy's all gone. Like, I'm gonna have to deal with this shit. So I went down, opened the gate. This guy is like in his 60s or he's old. He's just kind of Woody Allen looking guy. So he kind of got up there, and he's like, "Why didn't you open?" And I was just like, "Oh no, we're about to, he's about to bust us." He went upstairs. He's trying to turn on the switch. All the lights were dead. His eyes were bad. So he's just like, "Where's the light? Where's the light?" I was like, "Oh, we gotta fix the light." And the son saw all the painting on the wall. The son's like, "You guys throwing a rave in here, man?" And I'm like, so I was like, "Don't tell your dad, okay? And then, can I come in like Wednesday?" Like,
no way.
Yeah, we open Wednesday. He came in. We're giving a red carpet treatment, dude. We actually even got a NOS tank for him.
No way.
He brought in some girls, and we're in our little room, and just like It was that room was in danger of blowing up because there's no air vent, so everybody's like nosing out. So that was funny. That he's just partying with us. Like, don't tell your dad. They keep him at bay, basically. And the next another few days later, this guy came again, and the son this time couldn't do anything about it. I was like, dude, did you tell your dad? No. And the dad's like, dude, the toilet exploded, the pipes ruptured downstairs. We never knew what was downstairs. We were upstairs. Downstairs is a kosher meat storage. The sewage pipe ruptured, spilled all the feces and baggies all over the refrigerators.
No,
dude.
Oh,
Yeah. And of course, the guy who signed the lease is the one who is really in trouble. That wasn't even the end of the story. We were still running, and we were just like a bunch of crazy, it was just me and Jeremy. Jeremy is the guy who introduced me to the Thai stuff. So I was really staying up late. I was up for 7 days straight, which I tell you another story. I got a whole bunch of stories. I didn't even make a list anymore. But what happens that, before the end of the all, before I tell the ending of that story, one night, we were still doing, it was a good night. All of a sudden, our bouncer, we have a huge bouncer. He's a Samoan guy, huge, like a wall. He carried his own Magnum to do the doors. He had hollow points and everything. I'm like, this guy's serious, right? Huge guy. One day, we're in our office. We have a little office, and that's where we smoke on and stuff like that. And through lines. And then suddenly, this guy, boom, 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 came up. Yo, we got a celebrity here. And like, like, what are you talking about? There's a Keith Sutherland is here. Keith Sutherland of 24. Donald Sutherland's son.
Oh yeah, of course.
24. Yeah. This was what I don't know when he got divorced from Julia Roberts, right? But that was a time when he was like Robert Downey Jr. in the lowest period of his life, doing drugs and everything. He got upstairs with a beautiful woman. I don't know who she was. His date of the night. He got up. Of course, we roll out the carpet. We got a movie star in a little stinky little joint. We got him into the office. We're offering everything from a joint, from box champagne. That's all we got is the box champagne.
The good stuff.
Yeah, the good stuff.
Yeah, just the good shit. Yeah, nothing else.
And Jeremy was smoking PCC. So I said, you're not gonna offer that to him. So we just like scrambling, looking for things to offer. So he's completely inebriated. He was just like wasted, right? So we sat him down, and he was like, he started to like realize what's going on. He was very unconscious. He was very just wasted, and then suddenly we were trying to trying to get him to talk, and I was like, he looked around. He's like, "Is this Mousetrap?" And we're like, "Mousetrap? What the heck is Mousetrap?" And he stood up. This is not Mousetrap. He started screaming, and this girl just like, "Hey, that those. What the fuck?" And he just like he got enraged. It's like we were wasting his time.
Oh wow!
And with a Mousetrap, and then that's when we remembered. There's this black guy next to us every night. He wanted to kill us because we're bringing so many little ravers, so much noise. We didn't even know what he was doing. We said, "Why are you angry?" Not even the residents were protesting. Yes, I said, "Why are you angry?" We see him with a black bouncer outside. You're watching the streets, and that's when we realized it's next door. Mousetrap is next door. He ran out, ran straight into the gated garden that guy had. What is that guy what does he have that we don't? Because we were at war with this guy, this old black guy. He wanted to get rid of us. He
had cocaine. That's what he had. Yeah, that was Mousetrap. That was a coke. That was like a coke after hours. Yeah.
You know the place.
Yeah. Well, it used to be on Pico. Yeah, it used to be on Pico, and then I guess it probably moved over to,
No. It was on Pico. Thank you, because I forgot the name of our street. It was on Pico. We were on Pico in Fairfax.
But that's right there.
So we were right next door to Mousetrap.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So you know the owner, you know the black guy, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He looks like a scholar, he looks like, like Bill Cosby. You never think that he has the business going, And that's when we realized, holy shit, it's a cocaine bar.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. And this guy, I don't even know his name. He wanted to kill Jeremy because Jeremy's very high strung. He's very hostile towards him. But he saw that I was cool. So, hey, Eddie, you come on in. Let me show you my business. So he opened the gate. I walked in. I didn't say a word about it. I said, I think it's a nice little garden, like little humble tables in there. You've probably been inside. You know how it's like.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
It's like a cheap little Juana bar.
Yeah.
So I walked in and said, oh. And people are just quiet. There were people in there. And I'm like, why are you showing me around? Said, I got a decent business going on here. I said, I got the cops. This was Rampart. This is before Rampart blew up.
Yeah.
Right? The whole training day shit.
Yeah.
This was training day. This is where they unload the stuff. So I thought, oh shit. I said, yeah. He said, you guys best get your act together and get the fuck out of here because I'm about to get you guys seriously in trouble.
Oh yeah.
And
you would have. Yeah.
And I was like, let me talk. And I was just like, we were doing good. We were making money. I was like, come on, man. We can work things out. He said, no, you're bringing in the heat. You better get the fuck out of here or else, because it's getting more and more dangerous for him because there's so much noise.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of ignored him. He gave me the tour. That was like the last offer. I said, hey, look, I got a serious business here. Don't ruin it for me. So I was just like, okay, let me talk to Jeremy. I just talked to him. And he's like, fuck that old dude. Fuck him. Fuck, go around here. He didn't even know what he was doing. He owned the cops. Oh, okay, before there's so many chapters. I get to the final, the downfall. Okay.
Uh-huh.
LAPD came. They came in. They were at the door. This young cops. Clean cut Latino guys. They were at the door. The bouncer's like, dude, the cops are here. So they had all these little tweakers. Everybody's rolling. So we just shut down music right away. Everybody sit on the floor. Everybody's like a little classroom just waiting in the corner. Everybody's like rolling their ass off. So the cops came up. They said, well, I need to take a look. So we felt like, okay, we're going to be in trouble. 2 cops came upstairs. They looked around. They're like, there's no beer here, right? You guys got your liquor license in order? We were trying to do legitimate business. We got all the licenses. The only one we could not get from the city was the Dancehall. I think it's called the Dancehall license. Basically, allowing live DJ act with a live dancing crowd. You cannot dance without that license. So we're missing that one. So we pay for the fire, we pay for everything, but that they would not give it to us. But we ran the business anyway. So the cops came upstairs. They saw all these kids just like on the floor, it's a party. All the friends, we're all friends here. And the cops look at each other. Dude, you guys throwing parties here? And like, it's like, what do you think? And the same thing with the son of the landlord. He's like, dude, when can we come in? We're coming in in plain clothes. We'll change. We're not going to wear our uniform. Can we come in? Because they saw the girls. There are a lot of cute girls that night. These cops like, hey, can you get us in? So we had another buddies. These guys came in like 2 days later wearing the Guido shirts and now they're dancing with our girls. PDs. This is LAPD. I don't know if they're Rampart or not. Okay, but that was hilarious. That's like, oh my god, and we got cops dancing with us. Then this is what happened. Of course, the guy who ran, I'm pretty sure he did it. He called the SWAT. The SWAT basically didn't even wait at the gate. Those guys, they don't wait for the bouncer to go up to deliver the message. They just kicked the door in, raided the whole place with everything drawn, machine guns, shotgun, everything pointing out all the kids. People were screaming. And I was like, what? It was a raid. And they're screaming, get down the floor, blah, 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 blah. And that night was when the guy who signed the lease, Ned, he was arrested. He was taken away.
Oh wow.
So that was the beginning of the end. And we bailed him out and all these things, the whole 9 yards. But that's when I knew my life was about to fall apart. I was living in Marina Del Rey. I had a beautiful apartment at the time. You know, if you know Kingswood Village,
Yeah.
They changed the name.
Yeah.
Something weird happened there too. Some guy fell off the building when I was living there. If you're gonna ask me about ghost story, I tell you that story. But so I was really in trouble. I don't have a job. I was doing tons of stuff, and then before the way my family came in and dragged me out of the mess, I was still dealing. I was starting to deal, and not much, but this is step by step. I started getting into a lot of crazy situations. No more clubs, no more partying, just partying, just smoking, putting up the nose. I was up for 7 days. The longest I was 7 days.
Wow.
Up for 7 days, just smoking. I blacked out on 405. I was driving, just cruising. It was probably like 80 miles an hour or something like that.
Just cruising, yeah.
You're just cruising. My vision just went like, I haven't had any sleep. It has to be 7 days. I remember it was 7 days. My vision just went like a TV set, the old-fashioned TV set. You turn it off. Pew! Everything went black. Pow! I ran into the railing. Basically, I thought I died that day. I seriously thought I died. I was driving my little Nissan 300ZX, my beautiful little sports car. Completely rammed the right side. I checked myself. There's no blood. Oh, okay. Am I in heaven? This is the middle of the night. All of a sudden, I hear this cop car. I was like, oh, shit. So I looked back, and the cop car was chasing another speeding vehicle.
Wow.
And my car was up in smoke. Nobody saw me. And I just checked the engine. It still runs. Drove out of there. I found some shitty little mechanic, just a body shop. Please, just fix it. I pay you whatever. No questions asked. So I could have died that day, but it didn't end there. Next thing you know, I started to meet more people. The guy Jeremy, right? I told you about. Instead of doing club, we cannot do clubs anymore. We're basically dead end. So he started to hook me up with his cousin.
You started to what?
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to whisper. His cousin, a Thai guy from Thailand, he was the cook.
Oh,
He was the one who cooked the kryptonite that I told you about. So it's like primo stuff, right? So he was starting to inviting me to his house, and then Jeremy's like, "Dude, this is survival time. We got a deal." I'm like, "Really? I can't get my animation job back." I'm like, "Okay, all right, let's deal." So next thing you know, within a month of knowing that guy, he got arrested. He got busted. I don't know how. Jeremy was like, "Hey, dude, you're the only one who's got a good credit. Bail him out. Bail him out." I'm like, all of a sudden, my decision making skills completely destroyed. I have no idea what I'm doing with myself at that point. I completely lost my mind. So I said, "Okay, yeah, let's go bail him out." I got some $3,000 or whatever that's needed. I think it was $20,000. Actually, it was $2,000 I paid. Got the guy out, and Jeremy's like, "Watch my cousin. Watch him. I gotta go." I was like, "I bailed him out. You want me to babysit this guy? He's got a court hearing." Oh, guess what happens next? That guy ran. He was a flight risk. He took the plane to Thailand, left me for dead. The bail offers started knocking at my door. "Hey, so this guy, you know him?" I don't really know him. He just ran. I'd never been so scared in my life. That was when this is what bail bond is. I didn't know anything about bail bond. That's why I was like, this is what it is. So somehow there's somebody watching over me. this guy decided to come back after seeing his wife and children in Thailand. He decided to come back here to pick up his shit. Like the idiot that he was, he got arrested at the airport at LAX.
Oh, really?
I was like, "There's a God." The officers called him at the airport. There was a God. Imagine I have to deal with that mess. It was crazy. I was crying literally. I was just like, I cannot believe. One thing after another just gets worse and worse. Then it comes to a point where Jeremy, he started introducing me to his neighborhood, Montebello. And that's when I started to meet these cholos. And they have their business running. And they were scary. I thought Wachings were scary. These guys were like, they're running from the kitchen, you know? So one time, this is another story. One of these guys I met through this whole Montebello, they kind of took me in. They're like, "Oh, here's the Chino, hey." Everybody's got their guns and stuff. Like, okay, I hang out. Yeah. This one guy, he asked me to give him a ride to Santa Ana. I got to pick up some shit. I was like, this little Mexican guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, okay, I'll give you a ride." Drove all the way to Santa Ana to a Motel 6. And then I was like, "Oh, this is kind of weird." So he knocked on the door. We went into this door. Of course, this crazy cholo with tattoos, shaved head with tattoo all over his head. I didn't know about MS-13 at the time. I don't think it existed back then.
Oh, it existed. Oh, they existed. Yeah.
Yeah. Santa Maraducho. Yeah. So this guy barely spoke a word of English. He was just cracking jokes in Spanish with this guy. They're laughing. They saw me laughing. I laughed with them. Like, oh, Chino knows what we're talking about. So he started busting out these Mexican beers, and we start passing around the pipe, and we're smoking ice. And we're just laughing, and I was like, what are we doing here? Let's get out. The bedroom door opened. Then I saw this naked guy. He was surprised. He saw me with a mustache. And in the bed is a naked woman. And she's like, cover herself up. She saw me. Inside the bedroom, of course, everything you can imagine, all the pipes and all the petri dishes and everything. Everything's just bubbling in there. And I was so drunk at that point. I was like, oh, this is where you guys cook the stuff, huh? The minute I said that guy, out of his back, wherever, 2 Berettas took out, one pointing at my head, one put at my balls. He's like, hey, I said, you want to keep your head or you want to keep your balls? Are you a cop or not? You're a fucking cop. This woman, she was so shocked by what was going on. She's like, kill him. He's a narc. Kill him. She was telling that guy to pull the trigger on me.
Wow.
Screaming. My little buddy, the only voice of concern to the guy, screaming in Spanish, no way, no, es mi amigo, blah, blah, blah. They're starting to yelling back and forth. This guy's still holding it. Come on, you want your balls or you want your fucking head? Like, tell me. I was crying like a baby. I like that for like a good 5 minutes. That felt like eternity. Mm-hmm. I thought, just shoot my head. I don't want to live without my balls. Just shoot my head. There's no reason to live if I lose my head, my mouth. But I was just crying like a baby. It was embarrassing as heck. And then, of course, they told me to take off my shirt and your chicken and everything. Told me to run around with all my pants. There's no devices on me.
Yeah.
And he's like, get the fuck out. Go wait. And my friend's like, just wait by your car. Sit there where they can see you. They left the door open so they can see me sitting there crying like a baby. So that guy was arguing with them. Like, hey, dude, what are you doing? I said, I already said, I was there to give a ride. He asked me for a ride. What the fuck I got myself into? That didn't end it. When I drove him home, I'm like, did you get this shit? Oh, good. Okay, yeah. Some good. Yeah, it's a good hookup, huh? And guess what? Where I saw him again, this guy who pulled a gun on me.
Where?
On Sunset Boulevard, there's a shoe store. There's this big giant shoe store. I think it's probably gone now, but like 10 years ago, there's a huge just off of Sunset and Highland. It's like this is huge, gigantic the shoe warehouse.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know the one I'm talking about?
DSW.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Did you know the history of that place?
No.
Before they opened the shoe shop, it was up for lease for the longest time. Nobody was leasing it. People were throwing parties in there. There's a basement. They were selling speed down there. There's meth.
Wow.
It's a crack house. The basement is littered with crackheads. All these.
I think I've gotten high in their bathroom before. You know, I used to go in there with dirty shoes. You'd bring in some beaters, and then you see some crispy ones, and you're like, oh hell yeah,
yeah.
Walk them on out.
So you've been there. You've been to the party where you were there to do some stuff.
Oh, I was there to steal shoes.
This is when it became a shoe store. Okay.
Yeah. I used to party at there was a internet cafe right around the corner. Mm-hmm. There was right on Sunset and La Brea. There was right on the corner. There was like an internet cafe, and that was like an infamous fucking tweaker spot. You know, like it used to be off in there. Yeah, it was like it was open 24 hours, and right on the fucking corner where that Ross is now. I guess I don't even know. I think Ross is probably there.
People were playing Counter-Strike and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean Counter or whatever. You know, like fucking. And then downstairs there was like 2 bathrooms, you know, there was like a men's and a women, you know, this is back in the day when they used to separate the, pre-gender neutral bathrooms. And, and you would just go down there and it would be like, I mean, you would like the shit I saw in there. It was insane, you know, and you would just go down there, you would get the shit. There would just be fools just hanging out down there, just slinging. And then you would go up and I saw a dude straight sitting at a computer there, fucking whacking it, you know, like in the internet cafe, like, and they didn't kick him out, you know, that it was crazy.
No way.
Yeah, they didn't. They were like, well, whatever, you know.
Dude.
But you're saying is that cafe inside that whole complex?
It was a block over.
The shoe store is huge.
No, it was a block over. Yeah,
a block over. Okay, yeah, it's probably like the shopping center across the street. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have you ever smoked PCP, Eddie?
I only watched my friend Jeremy smoke.
Oh, okay.
He rolled it up with his whatever cheap weed.
Yeah, hey, that's how
he never even offered me. He didn't offer me, but I kind of figured that's when he got a little violent. He was I never had a good impression about PCP because so many news about some black dude tearing up his girlfriend in the bathtub. All kinds of crazy stories like that. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
Do you want to tell another speed story or the ayahuasca story?
Okay, so basic speed story kind of ended where I'll probably tell you about this is my very final call was I knew I was hanging on by a thread. I knew I was going to do something about my life where I'm going to die. That was when I had a nightmare. I wouldn't consider this a ghost story, but basically a very, very lucid dream. You know, you guys have lucid dreams, right?
Oh, yeah.
You could have been sure that was real, that you walked there. I knew I was there because I walked in, basically, you know, that movie, What Day May Come? You know, the Robin Williams film, what's it called? What Days May Come? You know, the one where he walks into the Dante Inferno. Robin Williams. He was trying to look for his dead wife. He was trying to find his wife. But okay, anyways, it's our house film. There's a scene in Purgatory where they walk into the area where these people are stagnant. The dead souls are piled up. They don't know how to process these dead souls. I walked into it. I could smell it. It was rotten. I can smell the sulfur. It was sticky. I can feel the texture. My feet sticky. There's like rotten bodies everywhere. There's like squirming arms and legs. Some are trying to grab my legs. I couldn't even stand still. It was dark. The only light is from the roof. It's like you're in the middle of a very tall alleyway. And there's a little streak of light going this way. I did not know where to go. It's eyes, dead body, as far as the eyes can see. And it smelled, and it was hot. I was sweating. I never had a dream like that where I can have all the 5 senses. You know, I could smell it. And then just in the middle of it, a hand came out. I was screaming for help. Like, I gotta get out of this tree. In comes a hand, dragged me out. It was my mom. My mom came in and dragged me out. The minute she dragged me out, I came out. I woke up in bed. Phone rang. It was my mom.
Wow.
My brother told her about what happened to me. My mom flew in, dragged my ass to Long Beach for rehabilitation.
Oh shit!
So I went to rehab for 2 months, and I don't want to tell the name of the place, but I'll tell you this funny story is that I was there, you know, the mentorship and all that stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
You got to teach the newcomer how to make bed and make their own cereals and own sandwich and all. Uh-huh. Yeah, the basic stuff. Now we go to the 12-step meetings, we go to the AA meetings. I even went to the CA meetings near Caucasian Anonymous meeting at the beach. It's right at the beach. It's hilarious. And one day I was there long enough to help somebody who just came in. Eddie, the owner, he was a NFL exec. He fucked his life up on heroin. It's another story I probably tell, but I shouldn't talk about it because he's still running the business. He's a good guy. Yeah, he saved my life. But he was an ex-NFL, and he saw some crazy debaucheries with the NFL. There's some corruption going on there. That's why I don't watch sports anymore. Something's going on with sports. I swear to God, he told me everything. And then I'm not going to say it, but you guys can figure it out why everybody's kneeling and all that crap. But the new guy came in. So I was like, who's this new guy? They basically like give me a royal treatment. Like, yeah, take a suitcase. I dragged his suitcase. I was like, this guy bought a lot of shit. I said, check his suitcase. Make sure there's no pills in there. I opened up. I was going through his underwear and all that stuff. What the fuck have I been doing? I was basically, you know, we got to screen these guys, make sure they didn't bring the shit into the house. And came in. It was Eric Douglas. You know.
Who's that? I don't know.
My names are blanking out. The Douglas family. Spartacus. I forgot his name.
Kirk Douglas's kid.
Kirk Douglas' kid.
Michael Douglas's kid, yeah.
Michael Douglas' half brother. He was in Delta 3, one of the shitty movies in the 80s. He was a pill bottle. He was on everything. He was, I think, especially on Xanax and Vicodin or whatnot. So he came in. Tom Arnold was there too. It's not a big place. They didn't go to Betty Ford. They came here. But it's a nice little place. You can go as you wish. Nobody's locking you down. You know, the only policy is that if you walk out without permission, you cannot come back ever again. Mm-hmm. It's your own choice. So Eric Douglas came in, and like this guy looks just like it's like a squash little Michael Douglas, you know, with a spike here, and he talks with like this. I don't know if he's gay enough, but he talks with a very high-pitched voice. He's like a crybaby. He just came in. I'm like, I'm gonna mentor this guy. So I was teaching him how to make bed and this and that. And then the second day, he took some pills. So he was puking and pooping all over our shower area.
No way.
Yeah. He crapped the entire area. I had to clean the fucking thing up. And of course, he's kicked out. But he died. You know he died.
No, really?
He died he died 2 years later. He kind of sobered up. I don't know where else he went because there's no way he was going back to that place after what happened. Wow. So that's a little story right there. So okay, but anyway, it's getting late. So I'm just going to talk about the last one, I guess. You guys are going to wrap up.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry.
I'm sorry. Okay. I'm just gonna jump to ayahuasca then.
Cool.
So after I became sober, I was good for a long time. I just smoking a lot of I was a chain smoker. What else did I do? Yeah. And
you saw how many I've smoked, like fucking a half a pack just while we recorded.
yeah, there you go. Time flies. Mm-hmm. Wait till you finish the pack. So this is what happened with ayahuasca. Was one day I just do you know this author Graham Hancock? He wrote this book called Fingerprints of the Gods. He's like an alternative historian. He's pretty famous. If you watch the Channel 4 or BBC, he wrote several books about alternative history. He's like the Indiana Jones, and so he wrote a lot of books about like discovering the true history of mankind, because he thinks that everything else is falsified history, institutional history. So he that's his mission, is to find the true history of mankind, to find the origin of mankind. He wrote all these books, and the last book he wrote about that subject was called Underworld, which is about sunken cities. Search for Atlantis, search for Yonaguni off the coast of Japan. All these like structures that like hundreds of feet under the water. Even the land bridge between Sri Lanka and India. There's also a huge bridge between. So that's what that book is about. That was his last history. The next book he wrote was called Supernatural. So I collect all his books, and then suddenly on his website, hey, I'm going to be in Brazil. I'm going to be doing a lecture about my new book, Supernatural. I'm Supernatural. That doesn't sound like alternative history. What is this? I didn't even have a copy yet. So, but I really want to see him. At the time, I want to get out of LA so bad. I said, I had enough. There's so much drama in LA. I was living with my brother at the time. Imagine, my credit was completely destroyed. I could not get my own place. After rehab, I stayed with him for 3 years. We just, I don't talk to him anymore. It got so bad. But yeah, this family drama. But so I saw the website saying, go to Brazil. I'm going to be hosting my book release is coming out. Please come in. And he said, I got a special package to stay at this place for 2 weeks in Florianopolis, Brazil, in the Santa Clarita? No, not Santa Clarita, Santa Clara? I forget the state. It's one of the states. So there's an island called Florianopolis. So we're going to meet there. So I bought the ticket. I booked everything. I called the shaman. I didn't know it was a shaman. I just called. I said, this is the hotel. I'm like, what is this? I just want to see Graham Hancock. Then the more I read, like, dude, what is this? This guy's a shaman. He's a Colombian who lives in Brazil. And so I'm like, I have no idea what I was getting myself into. I was like, I just want to get out of town. I can't think of any kind of vacation idea. I just want like a spiritual journey. I just want to get it. I was like, because if you read his book, Graham Hancock, a very smart man. He's from England. So I was like, oh, that's it. I'm going to do it. I talked to him and he said, well, first of all, you got to cleanse your body. You cannot eat pork for 2 weeks. Only fish, or best yet, no meat. Cleanse your body. Don't take any salt. Do not use pork, especially pork. He said pork would take you to somewhere else you don't want, undesirable place. So I'm like, there's a whole bunch of instruction basically before I arrive in Florianopolis. So I did my body cleansing and all these things, and okay, it's time to go down there. Then that's when I realized I was in the ayahuasca retreat. Beautiful house built by these Finnish architects. The whole thing looks like a tree. Basically, everything very organic, beautiful. It's like you're inside an elf's house. So, and that's when I realized, oh, okay, I'm here. Well, I'm gonna do some ayahuasca. I heard some crazy shit and scary stuff, but I guess there's no returning. Another point of return. I flew all the way down there, and then I realized, oh, I'm gonna drink this shit. I mean, what is this? Okay, I'll just make it quick. So we were there for 2 weeks and do it 5 times. 2-day interval. You don't do it every day because it's gonna drain the heck out of you. I've never done DMT crystal. As you know, DMT is the key ingredient. Mm-hmm. Actually, we all have it in our bodies.
Yeah.
Oh, one book. It was mandatory. We have to read the book by Rick Strassman. He's the only. Have you heard that book, the DMT Spirit Molecule?
Yeah, the Spirit Molecule.
Do you have a copy of the book? It's a must read.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. And Dr. Rick Strassman is the only doctor who got approved by FDA and DEA to conduct intravenous DMT injection on 60 subjects in New Mexico. He was teaching at the University of New Mexico, I think. Of course, after that, it's like the fire started the movie. So he's injecting everybody. Everybody starts seeing crazy stuff. But there's a documentary based on the book too. So we have to read that book to understand what tryptamines are about. Even like psilocybin is a tryptamine. Serotonin is tryptamine. DMT is dimethyltryptamine. And that's why I realized it came from our body. You know, I read the books. Oh shoot, it's in our body, but it's locked up in the pineal gland and the third eye and all this. So, but it's still theoretical. There's no hard science to prove that just yet. But that's what his book suggested. So we had to do it 5 times every other day. So the first time I did it, I would have so much baggage. I just finished dealing with my family, dealing with the rehab situation. My job was a shambles. My career, my relationship situation. So I have a lot of toxic. We're not just talking about health, body, but my emotional health was a disaster. So I took it in. There's 14 of us, including Graham Hancock and his wife, who's a photographer, Indian woman. She's Tamil from India, and his half daughter and his son Luke. They're grown adults. These are young adults. So the 15 people, we all sat down. We have our own little mattress, and the shaman. Well, we don't do it like in the jungle. This is not a jungle. This is an urban setting, in a beautiful house. I wasn't in the middle of the Amazon cooking it for 9 hours. Okay, that's how it's supposed to be made. You're supposed to cook it for 9 hours. But he bottled it. He had a shaman friend he studied with for 20 years in Ecuador and Peru. So he has stock coming in, shipped over it. It's like bottled fresh, basically. So we were drinking off the bottle, and everybody have a little shot. It's like a shot glass. Not a lot, but it's enough to deal with. So my first night, I took it, and you have to make your intent. You have to spell out your intent. What do you want to talk to the spirits about? What is it that you want? What answer you want? What is it that you want to resolve? You gotta state these things. It's not like a prayer, but you gotta keep it in your head. Just say, when I go under, I want to know these and that and this and that. You gotta make a list. Well, he said, don't be greedy. Just at least get to the basic stuff. What's the most important thing that you want to understand in life right now? This is your time to ask them. So I ask about whatever, how to get out of this mess. So, and when I took it, he started doing the Icaro, the Indian chant.
Yeah.
Cha, cha, cha. You guys, none of you done it. Have you done it?
No, I never did. No.
Ayahuasca? Okay. Yeah. So, well, you got to find somewhere legal to do it here. So he does that, the rain chant, the Icaro. He plays it. He doesn't have the music, but he plays the music. And then he started doing the Indian, the rain dance stuff. And then suddenly I was just like, I feel that, because when you drink it, you got to lie down and you got to hold it in at least half an hour. Otherwise it's wasted. Everybody has a little puke bucket. It's mandatory. You got to have a little bucket to puke into. I didn't know what to expect. I was just holding on to it with my dear life. Like, okay, here goes the roller coaster. So I held it in as long as I could. And then suddenly I just started to have all these negative, traumatic kind of feeling coming up. Basically, it just shot up like a geyser, just like, and I was so loud, and everybody started to puke. Everybody has their timing. I waited for half an hour, but I started to break out and cry like a baby. That wasn't the first time I cried like a baby. I told you the other story where I cried like a baby. This time was like the moment of truth. This time it's like you bare your soul to the underworld. And I was like, I cried like crazy. I ran to the kitchen. I curled up like in the fetus position under the sink. I didn't even know. I uncontrollable. I was uncontrollable. I just curled up like a shrimp. The wife of the shaman came down, gave me a hot soup, and so that was embarrassing. That was the first night, and like, this is why I flew 4,000 miles for. So nothing. I got nothing out of it besides just feeling. The next day was bright. It's like, after a mushroom trip, the next day is like super beautiful and bright, right? The sunset, the sunrise is never seen before. So we have this little ritual where we go around a circle. Everybody would tie a little knot on a rope and pass along. Everybody tell their story, what they saw, tie a knot, pass to the next person. Everybody saw the Kundalini snake. I call it Kundalini because that's why I understood what it's called now. It comes from the belly. It goes up the spinal cord and travel up to the head and goes back down. It basically dwells in your stomach, the navel. You know, I'm pretty sure it has a lot to do with the umbilical cord. You know, where you connect with your mother. You know, but that's where the snake resides. It curls up, and so that's what everybody saw. I was like, I didn't saw Jack. You know, everybody had like a beautiful trip, you know. So, and nobody cried like me. So I just told everybody, I'm sorry. I couldn't control myself. I had so much toxic energy, and but I feel very good today. Yeah. So just kind of like a little briefing like that, and then we have like tour around Brazil. We drove out of the island to do some shopping, and then the second night. Okay, the third night is when we do the second round, and this is when it got crazy. I took it. I held on. You know, I just tried to brave it out. You know, I just held it as long as I could, maybe almost an hour. I'm like, I'm gonna make this thing work. You know? I don't care if it's gonna puke out of my nose. You know, it's gonna jizz out my nose with the black. The thing that comes out is so disgusting. It's black, basically your gallbladder. Basically, everything you can think. It goes in. It tastes foul. It tastes like a sewage water. You know, like rusty. It's very rusty taste. I can't describe it. Just very woody, very earthy kind of taste. And then when I puked, you know, it just turned into black. It's complete black. That's when the shaman later explained. That's when your toxins, you're purging. You're purging all the unwanted elements out of your body at that point. So after I did that, and I was like, oh God, please make this go away. You know, and suddenly, I wasn't expecting it. My expectation was so low at that point, but I thought, whatever, I puked in. When I got up, suddenly my vision just opened up. You know that scene with the Matrix, right? When you saw the three agents, where Neo started to see everything in circuitry.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I saw. I saw everything sparkling, but the thing is that it's like wearing a virtual VR goggle. My vision is fixed. You know what I'm saying? It's like everywhere I look, it's the same angle. I cannot maneuver. I just saw this. It looks like a spaceship.
Yeah.
It's like a curve, like a deck. You know, like a Star Trek deck. And there are these. I wasn't big on Mayan back then. You know, this was 2006 in August. That's when I went. I didn't know too much about Mayan, but later I realized these are Mayan. You know, you see Mayan hieroglyphs, right?
Yeah.
Blocks. But this is like 3D. It goes like shuffling. It's like computer chips just programming itself. The whole wall was alive. But everything was sparkling green. It was like, but just imagine you're watching HD TV, right? And suddenly you go to Costco and you saw like a 4K TV, right? Or ultra 4K, right? And you're like, what the fuck? You know, like, when am I going to get my goggles? You know? But that's the thing. The definition was so high that I really knew that this is not my eyes' vision. This is my mind's vision. Definition was so high. I could see the tiniest. You know, I was very observant. I was just watching it and just like, dude, this is like infinite. You know, it's like you're watching a pixelated screen, and then there you got, you know, the HD TV. Like, but it's just hanging in front of me. I couldn't. That's a frustrating thing. I couldn't move around. So there's got to be something I can do. I was still in my bed. The room is all dark. Everybody's lying down. I kind of got up because I wanted to explore it. Then I started look. Everything's green. And suddenly in the center, I started to see a little circle, very small. It was spinning. I'm like, the hell? So I realized I can zoom in. I couldn't go left, couldn't go right, couldn't go up, down, but I can zoom in. So I zoom in. All of a sudden, you know the Korean flag, the yin yang in the middle? But it's not black and white, but it's the blue and red. So it's a spinning blue and red yin yang. Spinning. And like, oh, this is very Chinese, man. What's up? This Mayan, all of a sudden, this Chinese. So it's just spinning. I'm like, so I just like, okay, zoom in. And then when it got really close, suddenly my vision opened up. Another layer opened up. Suddenly, three beings popped out from the ground. Really long bodies. You know, remember how I told you my shroom trip with my friend Fernando? That I saw those three guys trying to grab my book in the toilet.
Yeah.
Immediately, I recognized them. I was like, "Oh, it's you guys! What's up?" You know, not quite that. No, I was astonished, but it was that immediate second I realized that's them, because I can realize one is female, even though they look all alike. They're the same height, but I can tell one is a female energy and two males. And one of the males I feel like is one of my dead uncles for some reason. When I was in my apartment that time, I identified this is somebody dead in my family. I feel like he's the guardian angel because my mom had a dead brother who died at age 10 years old. The fortune teller told my mom's family when they were in Vietnam, you know, they're Chinese immigrants in Vietnam, told him that he's going to die because he's a big fish in a small pond. He cannot survive in the small pond. He has to pass. So he died. But all these years, I feel like he's my guardian angel.
A fortune teller told your family he was going to die, and he did die?
Told my mom's.
Fuck.
Before, yeah. My mom is a psychic. I mean, her whole family is very psychic. There's some other ghost story, which I probably tell you before we close. But, so I felt that. So I saw this vision, but it was so glorious. And all of a sudden, three entities popped out. This time, not like in the shrooms where I only saw the sparkling outline. I saw them in full glory. Give you another vision. You saw the AI, right? Spielberg's film AI.
Yeah.
You know, with the robot boy and all that. You know, at the ending when the city, the whole world sank into the ocean, right?
Yeah.
And remember, he was rescued by these aliens, these long, dark, slim creatures with nondescript face. The face looks like circuit boards. That's exactly how they look like.
Oh, wow.
But with very long, tubey arms. They're like this. They're trying to figure me out, and everything's telepathic. They're trying to ask me questions, but I couldn't catch it because I feel like they're overloading me with information. Because I feel like I'm in a lower density. You know, this is why I figured out about people say flat Earth and this and that. You know, my theory is we are on a very two-dimensional plane, like the ants on the ground. People want to say flat Earth because they never can get to the next dimension to see from a higher perspective. That's why things are flat. So what meeting these people taught me was that you got to get to a higher level in order to, like kind of like in that movie Contact, right? The aliens sent the blueprint, how to make the machine, you know, how the contact machine, right? So it's the same thing. How do you put this schematic together? You got to think like a Vulcan. You got to put it in a three-dimensional map, right? So that's what I kind of learned from there. So they were. I was just like that for a good 10 minutes. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And they really they were surprised. I can tell they were surprised that I could see them. They were surprised. So they gave me a tour. I was just sitting there, you know, they just gave me a tour. Whatever. So my vision swiped again, and I was inside a huge garden. And I saw something like a space needle, you know, like the Space Needle Tower.
Yeah.
Very tall tower, but everything's green. It's like I was inside a greenhouse. And I asked him, is this where you guys grow your food? You know? Or is this where you grow your pot? You know? It's all green. You know? It's like field of green all over the place. Yeah. and then that was it. And then suddenly my vision left as quickly as it started. And then I just, but even afterwards, this 8 hours, it lingered around like you know, after you drop ecstasy, you know, you start to have that serotonin, you know, the serotonin field, you know, you're feeling tingly, right? Like that for the next 8 hours. So it was like, yeah. So, I was in the garden. I was talking to the plants. You know, it was hilarious. Yeah, I saw this beautiful flower. I actually ended up buying it wherever I go. I saw it in Mexico. I bought it. I saw it here. I bought it. Yeah, it's like a little alien plant. I forgot the name of it, but it's got little blue. It looks like a crab. It's got like little blue flowers. It's like a desert plant. But I realized there's an alien living in there. It's like an alien plant. So I always buy it for good luck. But so that was that. That was the only time I ever done ayahuasca. Later, you know, this is the funny thing. my connection, I tried to connect everything together. I didn't realize. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm almost wrapping up. So after I went back to Los Angeles, of course, after ayahuasca, you come to a dirty city like Los Angeles. You just feel like scummy, the scummiest of the earth. You know, like this place fucking scumbags out here, man. Like I just feel dirty. You know, I feel the energy so dark when I came back. I became very open. You know what I'm saying? It's like that I did a total detox, and I came back to this town, and like, really, I'm back? Oh my god! Now I can just fly. Can I go back? I just stay on a plane. But then weird things started to happen. That's when I started to meet some people. I realized entities are trying to connect with me. I went to I wasn't done with partying. I went to a day club. I wasn't doing meth anymore at the time, but I was just like drinking and so some little bar, a little day club. I forgot what it was called. It was pretty cool. It's like house music all the way till 8 in the morning, and then this little Vietnamese girl just popped up in front of me. Like usually, I'm the one who's doing the chasing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm the one I'm the dog. Let me do the job. But this girl just weird. She just like I didn't even see where she came from. She just popped up like right in front of me. Look, cute Vietnamese girl, and like. She started dancing. She wanted me to dance with her. I'm like, okay, she's rolling her ass off. So I started hitting up with her, and then I realized she's a chemist. And then she started asking me all these questions about my Brazil trip. And started asking about because she wants to replicate DMT. She read the Rick Strassman book, and I'm like, she's just very inquisitive. I'm like, something doesn't add up, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, this girl kind of just fell in my lap. Then something wrong about her. She's a super smart. She's a chemist. She can make anything that we name it. She'll make it from her. She was working for a cosmetic company. That's when she's a chemist. Actually, I know another chemist who's also working for a cosmetic company that makes some gay guy. He makes speed too. Yeah. So he's a funny guy. But this girl just popped on over, and then suddenly. One day, I went to have dinner with her. We were supposed to go see it. It's a movie day. We're supposed to go see a movie. We watched our time. We were eating somewhere on La Brea. And we said, okay, we got plenty of time. We finished our meal. We still got an hour. We still got an hour. We went to use our bathroom before the valet to pick up my car. When we both got out of the bathroom, go to get my car, that's when we check our time. We missed the movie. We missed our showtime by 2 hours.
No way.
What?
Both her. It's not just my watch. Her watch too. We both missed 2 hours. Basically, the movie was finishing already. I was like, how is that possible? We were watching our time. We still have an hour left. Suddenly, we got out of the bathroom. The movie's over. I wasn't sitting there for an hour. I just took a pee. So. She looked at me. She's like, "Did you put something in my drink?" Basically, she was accusing me of drugging her, and like, I don't know what the hell we missed on. So that was weird, right? So she lived in Long Beach. So okay, let's just bar hop a little bit. It didn't go too well. So okay, let's just drop you home. I took her to Long Beach, little alleyway. I was driving in a one-way street, almost at her house. Suddenly, there are cars, rows of cars parked on both sides. It's a one-way street, very narrow, right? Just one way. So I was about to drive through it. Suddenly, a car, a big Oldsmobile, fat car, just screeched in front of the end of that alleyway. I was like, whoa. And then he's like, back up. And it sort of drove into the alleyway on the wrong direction. I was like, what the hell are you doing? I flashed him. Like, hey, wrong way. And this guy's starting to charge towards my car.
Wow.
The girl was screaming, right? This guy was driving and scraping all the cars on both sides. And I'm like, dude, if you have too much to drink, this is too much to drink, man. Whatever the fuck he was doing. He's scraping a poor car. There's probably 20 cars he scraped. So I started emergency back up. I was back up, just made enough room so he didn't crash into me. Drove right by me. There were two guys in fedora hats with sunglasses. stared at me through the window with the tinted window. I'm like, who the hell wears fedora hat with sunglasses in the middle of the night? Just did this crazy. I mean, is it? I look at her. It's like this is like crazy ex that's trying to kill me.
Yeah.
But I have no idea. But it was really weird because there was enough strange things telling me do not hang with this girl anymore.
Mm.
I went to her birthday party. It just happened to be her birthday around the corner. And went to her birthday party. It's all guys. She didn't invite one single girl. It's all guys. And I asked all these guys, like, did you date her? I realized, he's a fucking Black Widow, dude. She's like collected all these dead souls. Like, what the fuck? So it creeped me the fuck out, man. So okay, so that's just one of the things that happened right after I came back from ayahuasca. Then I got a phone call within a month. I got a phone call from my friend who's a Colombian. Her dad is a Jewish Canadian. I was, we had mutual friends. She called me out of the blue, told me that she was in Cancun. And she said, oh no, actually in Playa del Carmen. She was just an hour south of Mexico. She was telling me, hey, come on down. Come visit me. It was Christmas time already. So come down and visit me for Christmas. So I went down there. And then that's when I realized everything got weird. She has my dad's birthday. Her best friend had my mom's birthday. And there's a whole list of coincidences that I can't even remember anymore. But when I got to Mexico, that's when I was oh shit, I'm in the Latina and Maya, and I'm looking at all these blocks. I went to Chichen Itza, I went to all the Tulum ruins, and they're like, dude, it's all of a sudden my memory of my ayahuasca came back. Like, did somebody guide me here? She hooked me up with a job there. I was just on vacation. She's like, hey, the owner of Senor Frogs wants to talk to you. They need the orders. I'm like, I don't fucking work here. I don't speak Spanish. I did her the honor because the manager was hitting on my friend. She's a beautiful girl. So he's like, hey, come on. I hope my boss wants to see you. So I went there, and all of a sudden I was hired on the spot. I was like, no, this is not what I wanted. I went back to LA and I sat on it. I was like, no, I'm not going to go. The big honcho, he started calling me. He's like, you coming to Mexico or not? We're going to give this job to somebody else. It's crazy. It's this crazy, like, Guido, the Jewish guy from Mexico City, David Kruhem. But he became the CEO of the Senor Frogs and Cooper Anderson's. That's the chain. So, but just a lot of things started to realize ayahuasca opened up this whole door of weird, like, can of worms, for the better of. That's why I met my wife, and then there's a lot of weird things with. I don't want to say weird things, but there's a lot of interesting things when my kid was born. A lot of dates, I'm very superstitious when it comes to dates, and there's too many coincidences with dates. So anyways, so I'm just gonna wrap that up. So that was basically it. Where I feel like there's somebody after the ayahuasca in Brazil. It was a positive outlook where I even became friends with Graham Hancock. It's funny, but I was like, wow. Suddenly, I was in Mexico for 5 years. I lived,
wow.
All those photos I sent you. I was there for 5 years. Those photos actually on vacation. I went back to LA and I sold everything. I said, fuck it, let's go. Hey, that's the end of my story. I'm sorry.
All right. No,
thank you so much, Eddie. It was great, so man.
Yeah.
Dude, it was great.
I hope it's entertaining.
No, all right. So good. Thank you so much.
We'll send it to you to edit before we post it.
Yeah.
Totally.
All right. Cool.
Thanks, Eddie.
Yeah.
Eddie.
Cool. Bye, guys. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Thanks for listening to another episode of It's All Bad. Please like and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. Follow us on Instagram at itisallbad. If you want to hear some bonus content, we have some great stories on our Patreon. Every guest that comes on, we have them stick around and tell a story that maybe they wouldn't feel so comfortable telling on iTunes or Spotify or whatever. And we got some new merch coming for you guys. And thank you all so much for listening. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace.